Welcome back to the Weaving Magic podcast. I'm your host, Tara Webb.
And I'm your host, Alyssa Lilly.
And here's part 2 of the honesty trust series that we're doing. And this one has to do with makeup, with Glamour Magick. And you typically, wouldn't think of makeup and Glamour Magick being trust.
Truth and trust.
Yeah. And the way I say that is because for me, wearing makeup is not so much a fear-based thing. Like, I don't feel like, I don't look beautiful enough, I have to wear this. It's, I'm protecting myself.
It's armor.
It is. So I would say when I was younger, I felt like I had to have makeup on. I wanted it when I think a lot of girls do, right? When we're younger, we're almost ingrained that makeup is the thing. I mean, look at girls now compared to where we were. I did not know all of this contouring stuff. I mean, I even had the stark line difference between my face and my neck with my foundation because I had the Meryl Norman foundation.
Okay.
That was really thick because this girl that I thought was really cool and was so kind did her makeup that way, and so that's what I did.
See, I'm so out of touch with this from childhood perspective because I grew up in such a masculine home, that I didn't really wear makeup growing up. And then when I got introduced to makeup in high school, I was in a home that taught me that I had to wear makeup to be presentable to leave. And so I've had kind of a rocky relationship with makeup, and especially being non-binary too, it can be weird sometimes.
My mom always made sure that she was wearing makeup. She never, even to this day, will look at pictures of herself and it's like, my eyes are so dark there. And my mom does have baggier eyes. And so it was difficult to do eyeshadow properly without them sagging, and was really just judgmental of her appearance overall, I think. But especially with makeup,
isn't it wild how that just sticks with you? I know we've talked about this in an episode before, but little things like that, especially as a kid or as a teenager, even as an adult, when you hear your parents look at themselves and notice all the little things, you're like, oh. And I even catch myself doing it sometimes because I'm starting to get crow's feet, which is very similar to the way my bio mom's crow's feet formed. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's not great. I'm like, no, that means I'm happy and I'm smiling and there's beauty in that. So
That's true. I'm smiling, I'm enjoying, because if you're like this, if you're not having any expression, then you're not going to have any crow's feet.
I don't want to vogue for life. I mean, voguing is good, but it has its moments.
You have no expression. But the smiles, that's what creates part of the wrinkles, the good wrinkles, I guess you could say. I don't know if there's a difference in good and bad wrinkles. Some coming from stress. That's a different term. But that was a big thing, makeup. And then going through being a theater major for me, we have intense makeup and have classes on the best way to do makeup. So I learned contouring in the theater way.
Which is exaggerated, right?
Somewhat.
Yeah.
Especially when you're doing old age stuff, and it has to be, so the reason it's exaggerated is because on stage it has to be more prominent for you to actually see it
far away, right? You want the people far away to be able to see the glam and expression that is being made.
On stage being the actual theater stage versus on screen, because that's very different.
Yeah.
And then, after college, I got pregnant, and then I was worried about a job, because I think we've mentioned this before, having a baby and having a job and trying to put your baby in a daycare or something is expensive. It takes almost your entire paycheck. So in my opinion, what was the point for that?
I mean, we did that. Sean was a stay-at-home dad for a while because it was a whole income just to get care.
I was like, what's the point of me going to work for that? To have, the stress of my baby being with someone else and that kind of thing. I personally did not see that. So I actually started doing Mary Kay because it was something I could do on the side. It showed me a unique way of looking at business, which I think is beautiful. I may not so much agree with MLM stuff right now, but where I was at that point, that saved my family. I wasn't making an exorbitant amount of money because I had a lot of mindset issues that I had to work through. Abundance. I just was going through a lot of different things. And, my husband was working probably 4 or 5 jobs. And I was doing what I could on the side, making that for extra money here and there. But I was able to do that. So I did my makeup through Mary Kay. And then I got on the natural path. Like organic food and nothing dirty skincare.
Or the spirituality path of like, you're not supposed to wear makeup.
They're very similar.
Natural.
And so when you're going through those paths, you're like, nothing is good for my face. Mm-hmm. And I went like extreme because I was trying to figure out what I wanted. But I felt so gross. Like my hair wasn't the way I wanted it to be. I felt like my skin was dull.
Fascinating. Okay.
Yeah, I thought my skin was dull because I still washed it, but it wasn't with the high-end cleansers. Mm-hmm. And even now, honestly, I don't use high-end cleansers, but I know how to take care of my skin. Mm-hmm. And I basically went from like, I have to go out wearing makeup to like nothing. I can wear this without, I'm good, right? Like, I don't have to have makeup. That's my badge of honor.
Oh,
right?
We're going through the roller coaster
because
ride.
That's what it is. It's like, all this makeup, I have to be beautiful and just like all this kind of stuff to I'm beautiful the way I am, which is both are true. You can, both ends. It's all behind your reason.
The intention with everything, right? It's all about the intention behind it.
Which is how most magic is. Mm-hmm. Your intention with it. And I've come to a point now, I started playing with makeup, and there was one point when I just like went to Ulta and was like, I want vibrant. It was after seeing Alyssa in Miami, and I was like, I want vibrant eyeshadows.
I was wearing like the bright yellows at that point. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think you had some teal too. And I was like,
my inner child was having fun.
I want that. And so I started enjoying that again. I think we've talked about where putting eyeshadow on my boys. Mm-hmm. And so all of that coming back to trust. I see it as, and even on here, Magic Weavers, that if you see me without makeup, that's because I'm comfortable with you. Mm-hmm. I trust you enough to see my face that way. I don't have to put on my mask. If I go out, it's one, preparing me because I have 4 kids and it's like my energy boost in a sense. Mm-hmm. And it's also my way of protecting because they do not have they're not worthy, I guess you could say, of seeing that inner version of me. Because a lot of people, like when I had Dominic and I was doing Mary Kay and I was still very conscious of how I looked, but also not. And I think Dom was less than a year old and we're shopping at the grocery store and all I did was had no makeup. I was tired, but I just had no makeup. I was fine. And I think the lady was like, oh, he's just so cute. You look so tired, Mama. You just look so tired. I was
the worst thing you can tell a new parent, by the way. Don't do it. We know we're tired.
Like, fuck you, dude. Seriously. I was so angry. Not because I believed it. I was at least conscious enough to be like, no. Like, that doesn't define me.
I look fine without makeup. Thank you.
Yes, because I made myself step into that because I didn't want to. And this is no hate on my mom. I just didn't want to be that person who was like, oh, I can't go out in public without me. I never wanted to be that. I think that was part of trauma too, right? Like it's the reverse. But no, that sucks. Like when someone says, you look so tired. Are you getting enough sleep? Why do you, are you pregnant? Like those kinds of things. Are you losing weight?
Why are those even things that we comment on? What value comes from the conversation of, oh, you look tired? Are you genuinely concerned about their sleep?
Are you going to come help me get sleep?
Watch my kids while I sleep?
I mean, the other thing of that is like when we're looking at little girls, she's so pretty. Look at how cute she is in her outfit. Mm-hmm. And look at the boys. Oh, he's so smart. Mm-hmm.
I do both with both of my kids. I tell them how beautiful they are, how smart they are. We do all of the affirmations, but it is very, very one-sided, or it's very sexualized. Like, oh, you're flirting with me. And I catch myself saying that one sometimes.
Especially to boys and stuff like, oh, he's being so cutesy to me. He wants to flirt. He's going to be such a lady killer. Yes. All this kind of stuff. And the girls, it's like, better lock her away. Lock away your daughter.
Watch out when she gets older.
Like, what are you putting in that?
What? And it's so ingrained. I mean, I'm guilty of saying these things as not about my kids, but like about kids or about little ones or being involved in parents. I'm trying to think. I think there are some sayings that I've even said to my own kids, and I have to pause and I'm like, wait a second. That's kind of messed up.
It's like the little green frog messed up song.
Oh my gosh, yeah, in a previous episode.
Go back to that episode.
Yes.
Emotional damage. Yeah, which is kind of where we are now. But
cheers
emotional damage. But I'm curious, Magic Weaver, if you wear makeup and how you feel, because there are some who choose to wear makeup because it makes them feel beautiful and they need that in that way, and that's okay.
And both are valid, right? Whether you choose to wear makeup or not, it's your intention.
Yes.
And both are valid. So this is not shaming people who do wear makeup or shaming people who don't, but opening the conversation of what is your actual relationship with it and what do you want it to look like. And even for our male identifying magic weavers or very masculine magic weavers, have you ever tried makeup? What's your relationship with it? Because you're taught so much not to use it because it's too feminine, right?
I mean, even for theater, men wear makeup like that. It just needs to be. And think about like teenage boys. You so easily cover up the acne that boys have that like it's so bad. You could use it. There's
benefits. Yeah.
And I mean, for example, my boys coming downstairs tonight, like showing Alyssa their skirts.
Oh, it was so cute. They were very excited to show me their skirts.
So with trust, I think it's more so dependent around, are you trusting yourself enough? Mm-hmm. And what trust are you placing on others? Like, are they taking your power with the makeup?
And being honest with yourself about ways that you may be giving people permission to take your power, right? And setting that boundary for yourself. Because you can't set the boundary. You don't know it needs to be there, right? And I think makeup is such a beautiful way to do boundary setting because, especially as parents, it's our time where we get to breathe and just focus on something and have a little, adult, also child play. I don't know. It's a lot of things on the one where you get to sit and relax, do your makeup, and think about, what is my intention for today? What kind of energy do I want to exude? Because the way I do my makeup for going to a job interview is going to be completely different than if I'm just running around the house playing or recording podcast episodes, or maybe I just want my inner child to play and I have these bright, fantastical colors.
And within makeup, I've also known, and it's so funny because I'll say something and Liz will be like, where did you get that from?
Oh my gosh, yes, like makeup and needing to match your clothes. What is that? Does makeup need to match your clothes? Is that a thing?
Or like complement it, the complementary colors.
In what way?
So like, orange, the opposite of it is purple.
Yes.
So complementing in that way too. But I just kind of always went with because it's the perfection, the matchy.
It's like these rules I didn't know existed.
Yeah. So I don't know what it was for. I was saying, Alyssa, I have this color eyeshadow. It's okay. I can change it. Cause we like kind of being similar on our podcast. We're not right now.
Yeah. We sometimes try to match colors. It is intentional.
Yes. And Alyssa was like, what do you mean matching your eyeshadow with your clothes?
Just change your clothes.
But it's weird.
It's not weird.
Alyssa and I did each other's makeup earlier too. And I mean, there's one episode where we kind of did talk about the joys of makeup because you saw the drastic line I had on my eyeshadow. And that was me playing with makeup. And I never really do that in the sense because it's very much of it has to be presentable. You can't just play. And I still look back at that episode and I'm like, that was...
But you had so much fun, and your inner child was so happy. You were glowing. And also, let's talk about the trust that goes into doing someone else's makeup. You're so close and personal, and it's intimate, and they're putting that mask on for you. It felt so bizarre looking in the mirror. Not that Tara did a bad job. I loved the makeup that she did, but when I looked in the mirror, I was like, whoa, this is not what I normally do. And I'm sure you had a similar experience, but it was very different.
Yeah. But also, it's like somebody playing with your hair.
Yeah, it's also fun.
That is a deep trust, That's something we miss in community, of feeling like someone. I think the African American, the Black community does this really well with hair. Especially with the indigenous.
It's very ritual.
The indigenous communities, with braiding it and putting the intention behind it, not cutting it. Whenever they're doing braids or dreads, that intention as well. And we've lost that in our culture. I feel like we're getting back to learning how to do our hair without it just being I have curly hair, by the way. I didn't know that. Those kinds of things. We just weren't taught that.
No, because we were.
I don't know what word.
Was it colonized?
Colonized. It's patriarchy. That's not the word in there. We're
patriarchy.
But that comes back to like that girl, even though Alyssa's non-binary, like that sisterhood, even though, you know,
it's a sister wound. Yes. I mean, I can acknowledge that
there's a connection, that wanting to be in community that way and feel safe. Because think about it, if it's like, oh, I'm going to do your makeup for your wedding, for your prom.
Yeah, I'm going to
something like that. Go ahead.
I'm going to rewind on that and say I think it's much bigger than a sister wound. Because I think male identifying and also non-binary identifying have issues with that kind of relationship. Because I mean, I have a really good friend of mine that is, you know, an AMAB, assigned male at birth, and identifies as man. And all he wants is like that relationship where you can sit on a couch and not be like, what's the term they use? Like, don't be gay, right? Dudes use with each other. And he's like, what if I want to sit on the couch next to you and watch a TV show? And oh no, our arms are touching, or, you know, a little, you know, because AFABs, assigned female at birth, or women, when they sit next to each other and their relationships is very cuddly or touchy.
Because men can't show affection.
Yes.
Or AMABs can't.
Yes. And it's, there's a lot of wounds there when it comes to just relationships.
So community in general.
Yeah.
Specifically sister wound being with like makeup and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But the desire to be able to trust someone, to just be in that close space. I mean,
it's so hard. I'm so excited that I met you and we have this friendship, right?
I was going to say TMI is that Alyssa was holding Ori for me, and I was going to the bathroom, I had the door open, and Justin, her husband, Justin walks in and closed the door. I was like, I was talking to Alyssa, and he was like,
you're peeing.
Y'all look at each other while you're peeing? I was like, well,
I'm in the other room. I'm not like staring at her while she's peeing.
But we are talking, and it's like, I've seen her naked. And he's like, cool.
I've seen my friend's buttholes. I'll call
I was like, not that I like care, but like, I'm curious about the details behind
yes.
this.
How did we come upon this?
Like, was it like a spread
That's
eagle?
some bro trust.
Like, can you check this? But I mean, because like for women, for AFABs, I had like,
good job.
For like AFABs, it has to be, check me.
Yeah.
Am I good?
Like, you got a bug bite today, and you're like, hey, look at my butt. What's happening here?
And I'm saying like that in like the period sense of like, am I bleeding? Like, check my pants. Like that's a very trustworthy, hey, look at me, like that kind of thing.
Triggered. I went, so I was on my time of the month. What's a nice, I don't like period. My menstrual cycle. I was on my menstrual cycle, my moon cycle, my bleed. And I went to go have ice cream with my friend that I visited that got married, and I bled through my pants, and she was in front of me the whole time, so she didn't see or think to check me, right? And there was a huge line behind me, and nobody bothered to like stop me and tell me that I was bleeding out. It's fine. Tell people. I don't care how awkward it is.
That's also a form of trust. Yes, because for the most part, girls, AFABs, we take care of each other on that end, right? Mm-hmm. We're supposed to. No matter who you are. Like,
that's the community.
I'm that person, and I did it multiple times today, where women, just because I don't know, you know, AFABs, I'm guessing, we're in their head, and they're walking, I'm like, oh, hey, you're
beautiful.
Yeah,
completely interrupted their
I said
thought.
Something like, ma'am. That's something, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am. I love your shirt. And especially because I'm staring. And it's okay to stare, I feel like, but I want to justify it to them so they don't feel like I'm judging. Because that's in my face could be like,
yeah.
You know.
Well, and it feels like, and this may be something that's ingrained through society, that we're taught that everyone else is judging us, right? And so when we do see those moments where people are staring at us like, oh, what are they thinking about me? And that's why we're so self-conscious all the time.
Yeah, definitely. Going back to the
topic at hand.
There's multiple topics at hand. He has multiple hands. Now that's like down a dark path. Anyways.
Let's get weird.
My brain like froze for a second. Oh, trust within the community. So think about the sense of like, you still hear stories of this where, you know, someone's doing your makeup or for like a prom, for a wedding, for something special, and you're on a time crunch and you look in the mirror and you're like, that's not what I wanted.
Yeah, this doesn't look like me. Yeah.
They can either not do it intentionally or be like, fuck you. And like, that's a deep trust moment. Or they didn't do it intentionally, but you're like, hey, that doesn't look like me. I would prefer this. And they take it personally. Mm-hmm. Right. So there's just this lack of trust that we have across community, across sisterhood, across just being with somebody, you know?
Well, and I also think it is trust, but it also comes to like the way that we assume someone's intention behind something. Because I've seen a lot of situations, we'll use, doing makeup for a wedding, for example, where the bride who doesn't like her makeup may assume that their friend's intention was to sabotage them.
Yes.
And I've seen stuff like that happen that's destroyed friendships. And that wasn't even the intention behind what was done. Right. So I think it's important to not only look at the trust in that relationship, but really allow each other to speak and hear each other's intention and, see each other's feelings versus just assuming what they are.
And also there's a fine line too. And I struggle with this sometimes of wanting to lift someone up, but also being honest about something with them. So like, if we can just say, for example, let's say, Alyssa has a color that they're wearing right now and they're really excited about it. But I think that like, if it were like a puke green, that would not look good on their skin tone.
I want you to tell me.
But see, that's a difficult balance of like, Alyssa's so excited about this. Do I crush them? And that's not even saying like, I'm going to say it in a mean way, but to me, it's like, that doesn't look very good on you. Like, how do you say that? So there has to be able to be a trust with someone. Like with Alyssa, there are times when we've said to each other, like, hey, I feel like we're not being present with each other. I feel like you're doing this and I'm doing that. And like, we're just not being the kind of friends at this moment that we can be. Right.
And we're honest with each other about it. Like because we've been coaching each other and my life has gotten really crazy and busy and so has Tara's. And I remember we hadn't talked in a while, which is unusual for us. Shocker. We talk almost every day.
We talked like text. It wasn't like a phone call. Like,
or a Marco where we video text each other. And I don't remember if I called you, you called me, but either way, I was like, you know what? I know I haven't been fully present with you and I'm really working on it, but I have a lot going on right now. And I think just being honest about it and making it normal to have those conversations.
And so it's being honest, with, hey, I think you did really well with your makeup. Maybe next time blending this color with this.
This is what it sounds like when you talk to your kids. You're parenting yourself, but you're also having that same love in a relationship.
Because anyone you talk to, as we mentioned in our last episode, with the criticism, that you want to bundle it with love. When I first learned how to be a leader and how to talk with people, whenever I graduated from college and went to a job where I had people under me of like with an RA, RD position, which is resident assistant, resident director, and they're like over the students essentially. And I had like all of these really good plans and I told the kids, the teenagers, whatever they're kids, I told them like what I expected. I had really good expectations. And then afterwards I reevaluated and I was like, yeah, you could do this better and this better and this better and this better. And I did it lovingly. Like I'm not a mean person, but the feedback I got was that I'm too strict.
Too intense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Too
I've gotten
critical.
that before.
Because I barely gave, unless you like wowed me, I didn't give you compliments. Because that's how I was raised. That's how I was taught in schools, right? Things like that. And so I learned in that one moment, people respond to loving criticism, like with positive affirmations in the sense of, so like we say with the kids, don't water the weeds. When our kids have been a bit intense, like they have this week, where can we praise them? We may have to take something away, but let's quickly praise on the other end. Dominic has something taken away, like screen time. Okay, but how can I see other things that he's doing really well? So if we're going to bundle that up, it's like, wow, you did your hair so well. I love the unique style. I'm curious how this looks next time and maybe it might look better. Like just bundle it with love.
Well, and I also think that bundling it with love is important. I also think feedback is important, but I also think taking the time to praise people. I mean, my jobs, my career, even in my current career change, a lot of the work that I do involves reviewing things and looking at people's work and nitpicking, right? Which is a good thing to have, especially in business. But if all you're doing is nitpicking, everyone's going to hate me, right? I'm going to be the bad guy all the time. And while critiquing is important, I also think it's important as I'm looking for mistakes noticing the beauty that is there and making it an intentional effort to call it out. It makes all of the difference in your relationships, in your work, in your parenting style. Because we're just taught so much to nitpick and constantly critique. And even, especially with kids, it's a prime example. No, don't do this. Don't do that. Don't do this. Don't do that. That we forget to pause and be like, you know what? Let's have fun and go wild.
Or even you haven't told them what to do.
Yeah.
Just guess. Because they don't know.
Yeah.
You're telling them what not to do. That's cool. But they haven't gone into the world.
No.
And it's funny today because we literally just said on the last episode how my boys are like, here's just all of this wisdom. And so we're sitting at the table and I asked my son, I was like, did you tell this adult that they were basically wrong? He didn't say you're wrong, but he was like, no, my mom said this. Did you say that? And he was like, he paused and his brother was like, yes, he did. I was like, your name's not Dominic. I want to hear from Dominic. And Dom was like, yes. I was like, awesome. I'm proud of you because you were correct. You know, I was like, you know, that person's not in charge of you. I'm very proud and you're happy that they chose to take care, like watch out for you. But in the end, you are welcome to say, you know, speak to an adult like you would, you know, that's not what I'm taught. That's not what my mom said. So I can do this. Right. And he was like, I was like, you know, because we're in charge of you, because we care for you. And he's like, no, you're not in charge of me. I was like,
oh yeah,
I'm not. He's like, no one's in charge of me. I make my own actions, which is what we've taught him. And I was like, yes. He's like, because you can't make me do anything. Well, yeah, but we also guide you. Yes, you do guide me, but you're also not in charge of me. And Justin's like, in the IRS basic area, I mean, I kind of am. And he's like, no, you're not. It was just like this huge conversation because they're right, but also we guide them into the world of like what they don't know.
And we had a beautiful conversation about, you know, consequences and, you know, how we influence and are there to show them different roles in the world. We even talked about societal standards and try to explain what that is because they don't understand it. Mm-hmm. And that's why, you know, we as parents are here to help guide them to understand why something is wrong or right.
Mm-hmm. So with coming with like love on things, whenever I was going through parenting school or parenting course, because that was so important to me when my husband was deployed and I felt like I don't know what to do with my kid. I'm getting to the point where I hate him. Not like actually hate him, but hate being a parent to him because I don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. And that was not okay to me. So I went to parenting school course. And she said, the person I learned from, just fabulous feedback. She said this one person that she was helping was looking at her teenager and was like, you know, I cannot find a single good thing to say. I can't find anything. I'm annoyed at like everything he does. I don't know what to do. And she was like, then say that he breathes well. Because every time they would have a conversation, he would snap and she would snap and, you know, teenage stuff. Go back and forth, especially if you haven't like built that.
Are you ready connection.
For that?
You ready for teenagers?
And so she told her son, hey, I think you breathe well. And he was like, and they started laughing. Because it started that connection of, I'm just going to compliment you. And on that same little quick tangent, whenever I was learning to parent differently, they also teach you to not, what's the word? Not constrict. The word is constrict in my head. To not like tell your spouse that they're doing the wrong thing, basically.
Oh, that's a hard one.
Because what you're doing is like, hey, I'm going to try something new. Can you just watch me and give me some feedback? And you have to be really strong in yourself to not like taking it personally. And then when they start doing something that they're like following you, because they're going to notice a difference when you're changing it, then you praise them. So on every end, you praise basically. Mm-hmm. But I want to like shift a little bit gears back into makeup because I think it'd be really interesting to discuss what the colors of makeup can mean and how you can use them to really enhance your protection, what they can actually mean while you're putting them on you.
Go watch our Glamour Magick episode.
Yes. So the first thing I have is like blue. Blue is very powerful for speaking your truth.
Yes. Speaking your truth, standing in your truth, embodying your truth and your authenticity.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Calm, being very calm as well. Mm-hmm. And I would say if you're very warm, you know, the pits of the fire, if you're just like during summer, we get very hot. Blue would be a color to kind of cool you off. And not like your body cools off, it's just like colors have a warmth and cool and like that kind of stuff to them. So, you know, those lighter, cooler colors will help you feel less fiery during that time. Like for me, during winter, I have this beautiful mint colored shirt that is gorgeous. I rarely wear it because it's a cooling color.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel colder, even though that makes no sense because it's long sleeve, just like my black one.
I haven't even thought about that. Yeah. And my house is covered in, well, shocker, teals, blues, and oranges. Yeah. If you've listened to prior episodes. But I love having the blues to just, in a moment of frustration, have something to just look at and bring that ease. And so using makeup in that way, it's setting the intention before that even happens. And putting that, we'll say mask for lack of a better term, but putting that armor, that armor, that protection on of, I'm going to be cool, collected, authentic.
Then you go in, I think like neutrals are a good area too, because those can be very subtle and form a good foundation.
And those are really good for job interviews.
Yes.
Of that confidence.
I can say, and they also people instill confidence in you by looking at them because it gives this form of like, what you're doing.
And that groundedness.
Yes. I would say also green, like not as much an emerald, but like a sage, a grounding green. An emerald would kind of give me the, like the confidence in yourself, but like glamour-ish, of I don't know, if I see green eyeshadow on somebody, it makes me want to be friends with them.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's like, ooh, they know about themselves. I don't know. Because emerald's that's a bold color.
Emerald and blue. People are bold when they use those colors.
And red. Because I feel like red is not very often on eyeshadows. Because another thing that I learned was I couldn't wear red eyeshadows because it would wash my face out, because it's not good for like those kinds of things.
That makes no sense. I feel, because I've been told that, but that's because I have super red undertones to my skin, so it makes me just look like a lobster.
Yeah.
But I still do it.
Yes.
Now. I didn't back then, but I do now.
Red would be kind of the root chakra, kind of like that. But I really think if it's what kind of red you're going to, and usually the red for eyeshadows, so there's difference. With eyeshadows, that'd be fiery. Vibrant.
Passion.
I think of a flaming homosexual who is just like going for it. Like that makes me just like light up.
Why a flaming homosexual?
Because the fire, like the flames.
But what's that to do with the homosexual?
Because that's the typical connection people make.
Oh,
like
okay.
Like the term of flaming homosexual.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that's like the rainbow colors. That people are just like all about it, and they have like the ability to. When I see that.
Yeah, I will say, hopefully that's not offensive. Flaming homosexuals are very vibrant and exuberant and who they are and passionate when they talk, and it is very awesome.
So like when I see
not
red.
Not to stereotype.
No, and I'm not mean that like a negative way, because when I see a red, that's what I think of, and it makes me excited and daunting because I sometimes don't have that confidence to wear that.
So what do you think about redheads? Do they intimidate you?
Probably did for a while, I would think. But also very envious. Think about that. Like, I mean, the red it's an envious and red can be envious with green too, right? An envious of wanting to be friends with them.
And red and
with
green
someone,
are opposites.
with someone who's so confident. Because redheads kind of are muted in the sense of they withdraw in because they feel like they can't take up space, or they are loud and bold.
There's no in between.
There's not. And so if there's someone who is that flaming redhead, then it's very much of like, yes, I want to be friends with you. There's just a lot of passion coming from that. Purple makes me think of
royalty.
Yeah, just elegance, really. A calm assurance.
It's almost, I can't even think of how to put it into words. I think you said it, like a calm confidence, a
poise.
Yes, that's the word. Thank you. Word witch.
Yes.
Or wait, it's not word witch. What's the way you like to say it? Word wizard? Word
sorceress? I don't know. I'm still playing with it. But I also think, and maybe this is just me, I think of purple being a beautiful color with people with darker skin.
Yes, it stands out.
That is
stunning.
A lot of colors look good on people with darker skin, but like that color, I just feel like it brings out the richness of who they are.
And I absolutely adore brown eyes. And the way
that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Because brown with purple goes
it
with
just
it.
makes the radiance. I feel like brown eyes get a bad rap, but they are stunning, and they have so many different shades, and the caramely. I'm a sucker for brown eyes.
That's funny because when I was younger, I had like this is what I have to have in a relationship person, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like I want these beautiful eyes and beautiful voice.
What was your definition of beautiful eyes?
Like hazel green, baby blue,
Mm-hmm.
My husband has dark brown eyes. Dark brown. Actually, no. I think they're like poop color brown.
What a way to describe it.
So I think I actually used to be like,
your eyes look like shit. But they're beautiful.
And the reason I say dark is I look at my son's eyes, Thomas's eyes, and Ori's eyes. They're very similar. Are the dark, just the darkness brown. Like it's stunning. It captivates you.
It's so deep. It's like there's so much depth in your eyes.
Elias's eyes, my third, is
they're beautiful.
It's a brown blue green.
It's almost a hazel.
It is, because his hair is lighter. Dominic's is a green brown.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Justin's are like the poop brown I didn't like for a while, and now when I look at them, I don't see the poop brown. Like I just
are you sure? You're saying it's poop brown a lot.
It's funny because he told me, I think I've shared the story before in here, where he was like, I only like browns everywhere except for in the bathroom because it reminds me of poop. Only just to say that. Meanwhile, like we're recently together and I'm going and scrambling trying to find colors to match our house. He actually was joking and didn't care. And I didn't know this until like 2 years later. And I'm like, reds in the bathroom, which I hated. And like browns, a brown comforter. It was like really ugly. Because he said he had to have that. That's the Gemini for you that we talked about. That's just like, but yeah, I mean, that color can just be really understated because there's like those gold flecks too.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I love, I don't know, I connect with earth so much, and I love the richness of the brown, especially next to like the forest green.
What are Sean's colors?
Of what?
His eyes.
He's got blue eyes.
He's got blue, and then your kids, blue as well?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mine change from blue to green, and they're typically a gray color.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe my daughter has my eyes, and my son has Sean's eyes. Sean's eyes are, like crystal blue.
So the hazel color is actually one that there's an actual another term for it. I don't remember what it's called. Something like that. It's where it shifts, and it's not actually hazel. So my eyes.
Why are you laughing?
Because the way I say it makes you think of like a shapeshifter, like I'm hiding like a vampire. My eyes before the sun hits them. See?
That sounds like something you read in a book.
I know. Are a dark green with like the darkness around it. It's really cool. I need to write this in a book.
You do. That was a really great line.
When the sun hits them or when it's like brighter, it's like baby blue inside, darker blue on the out with a yellow line with like flashing the yellow. Yeah,
they're beautiful.
So, anywho,
makeup and trust.
Yellow. I feel like yellow is another one of those colors where like you can't wear that if you have light skin tone.
Watch me, I do it all the time. I love yellow for confidence and for my inner child and joy.
Yellow's daunting.
Mm-hmm. Can you elaborate?
Probably because I'm pale skinned, and so I would like see that as daunting because it doesn't look good because I have blonde hair. It's not looking good on me. You also have to be like confident to wear that, full of joy. And if you don't have that confidence in yourself, then it's kind of like I don't want to wear that one. I'm just going to go back over to the blue that's safe and warm and comfortable and cool.
I feel like that says a lot about your wounds that needed to be healed at that time.
So yellow would be like the, is that sacral? No. Solar plexus.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. It would be the solar plexus.
Orange, which is one of my faves. Another one for confidence.
Orange is difficult for me.
Why?
Because the orange I always associated with was Tennessee Vol orange. Yeah.
Okay.
And it never looked good to me, on me. The rust color orange I like better, but that's my immediate go-to of that. But orange, like the rest, would look really good on me, whereas it looks really good on you.
Mm-hmm.
It also has a warmth to it. It has a richness of like wealth. if it goes more toward the golden orange, right? That mixture of the yellow with it. Or the dark orange is that grounding.
Yeah.
But think about this. You go towards the darker root area. I go towards the lighter because I'm more, I'm airy more here. You're more down there. So those areas,
we balance each other really well.
Those areas are where I would more likely stay away from, but still do, right? Like that's I'm not.
That's why it felt so weird doing each other's makeup too. I did yours more grounding, and you did do mine a little bit more elevated.
But I had green.
What, mine did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Interesting.
I'm gonna do your makeup tomorrow. We're gonna do yellows and oranges.
I'm gonna do like purple on you.
Ugh, okay. We're gonna be experimenting.
Purple and black. I don't know. I just say that, but we'll see.
This will be fun.
Any colors you missed? White, but that's like an accent, I think. And that's also very like high vibe.
I mean, it depends on your skin tone. It doesn't have to be an accent. It could be a main color. I love using whites, especially sparkly whites, to highlight my inner corners and underneath my brow.
Oh yeah, we've been doing some white eyeliner
under our actual wing, and it looks so cute. I don't think you can see it.
And that's the other thing is that you can.
Yeah.
Go to our YouTube to look at Alyssa's beautiful eyeliner. The other thing is, like, I never really was allowed to wear black lip stuff
because it was evil. Me too.
And nails. Yeah. We weren't really allowed to do that, and I just bought black lipstick,
and it's amazing.
Yeah, my son messed up, but it's okay.
He stiffed it and squashed it.
He did, and that's just because kids want to do everything that we want to do.
Hi, little bug who is on my screen. That's okay. You can hang out. It's fine.
Yes. So. I think our challenge
play with makeup
is to play with makeup.
Surprise.
Yeah.
Even if you don't wear makeup, even if you are masculine or male identifying and it makes you uncomfortable, push your boundaries a little bit. It doesn't have to be crazy.
Put a little bit of clear lip gloss on your lips.
Yeah.
Or chapstick.
Or
go vibrant.
Go crazy with it. Let your inner child look at your face as a freaking canvas. You can draw a heart with eyeliner on your face. You can draw a crazy devil, whatever you want. Yeah. It can be actual makeup you'd wear in public. It could be just having fun at home. You could do face painting with your kids and do cool designs. Like, have so much fun with it.
I mean, let my kids doing makeup.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah, play with makeup.
Ooh, maybe I'll let Sean do my makeup. See what happens.
Let Aurora. She might stab you. But
she would eat it. She's
it?
Not quite there yet. Yeah, she would probably eat my brushes. Yeah. She's at that age where she eats everything. She's teething.
Yeah.
Lincoln might. We might be at a good age where Lincoln could do my makeup.
I feel like Lincoln would go halfway and then be like, I'm done.
Well, so Lincoln is very, is it textile where he likes to touch?
Yeah.
I feel like he would just want,
into it?
Yes, I feel like he'd want to touch and dig into my eyeshadows. So I will get a special cheap palette just for Lincoln, and he can do my makeup or something. Yeah. Or we can do face paints. Like I said, face paints are fun too if you're not into makeup, and that's a good way to explore that creativity, what it feels like to put that mask on for the day, whatever that is, whether it's adding extra joy or confidence.
And as you're doing it, just take a moment as, honor and step into why. I'm doing this because I want to. I'm doing it because I feel like I have to. I'm doing it because it gives me confidence. Whatever it is, just recognize it.
Also, the emotions that come up behind it.
Yeah.
Because I know for me, some days I have mixed emotions and I have trigger points with makeup, especially being non-binary, right? And just recognizing what those are and what they're pulling up, because it's very healing to know yourself on that much of an intimate level.
Trust yourself.
Shocker.
Trust yourself.
This concludes another episode of our Weaving Magick podcast.
We release one episode a week, so be sure to subscribe to catch the latest episode as soon as it releases. You can find us on Instagram at Weaving Magick Podcast. That's Weaving Magick, Magick Podcast.
We would also love it if you could leave us a review. If you do, make sure to email us your review so we can send you a thank you gift. Thank you so much for joining us, and don't forget to find a way to weave magic into your daily life.